Have you ever walked into a room and instantly felt the chill in someone's stare without saying a single word? No matter how kind, respectful, or easygoing you are, some people just seem to dislike you, and you can't explain why. What if I told you it's not always about you but about what you trigger in them? Have you ever noticed how some people instantly reject your presence, even though you've done nothing wrong? You're polite, you're approachable, and still you're met with cold shoulders, blank stares, or subtle hostility. Why does this happen? Why do certain people carry resentment or negative energy toward you without a clear reason? The truth is this phenomenon goes far deeper than surface-level misunderstandings. It's not always about what you say or do. In many cases, the root of this unspoken tension lies in something hidden deep within human psychology. It could be silent envy, lingering insecurity, or a perception warped by assumptions and personal pain. Sometimes, it's not your actions that disturb them, it's your light, your confidence, or even your peace. And they don't know how to process it. Understanding why people might secretly dislike you isn't just interesting, it's necessary. Especially in a world where we navigate complex social environments every single day. Knowing the real reasons behind that unexplained tension can help you stop internalizing it and start seeing things more clearly. In this video, we're going to uncover 9 unexpected reasons why some people might quietly harbor negative emotions toward you. These insights might just change the way you see your relationships and yourself. But before we begin, let me take a moment to say thank you. Truly, the support you've given this channel means more than you know. Your comments, your encouragement, and your stories remind me why I create these videos. I read every single one and I'm grateful for this community we're building together. If you're new here, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Turn on notifications so YouTube can help others just like you discover this message now. Take a breath, and let's begin this eye-opening journey into the hidden emotions people rarely admit out loud. Envy and jealousy. Let's start with one of the most common yet most dangerous sources of hidden hostility. Envy. These emotions may seem subtle at first, but they're powerful, toxic, and when left unchecked, they can rot a relationship from the inside out. Envy turns admiration into bitterness. It transforms respect into quiet resentment. Why? Because when someone sees something in you that they secretly want, but feel they can't have it, creates an inner conflict. It could be your success, your confidence, your calmness in chaos, even your joy. Rather than celebrating your progress or being inspired by your story, they see you as a mirror, one that reflects back what they feel they lack. And instead of asking, how can I grow? They ask, why do they have what I don't? That's when the resentment begins. Over time, these feelings can build into something more corrosive, something that causes them to speak behind your back, dismiss your wins, or even root for your failure. It's their way of soothing their own sense of inadequacy. The worst part, they may never say it to your face, but behind the scenes, they might be spreading rumors, questioning your credibility, or downplaying your success just to make themselves feel better. Envy rarely announces itself. It operates in silence, but its damage can echo loudly, especially if you don't recognize where it's coming from. So the next time someone treats you with unwarranted hostility, ask yourself, could it be that your light is simply too bright for their shadows? Misunderstandings and ineffective communication. Truth is, even a small misunderstanding can plant the seeds of deep, lingering resentment. Most conflicts between people don't start with something big. They begin with something subtle, a gap between what you meant to say and how it was received. 1. Poorly timed word, a misunderstood tone, a raised eyebrow at the wrong moment. These little moments can spark a chain of misinterpretation, leading others to create a version of you that simply isn't true. Over time, these communication gaps build emotional walls, and people begin to see you through a distorted lens, distant, dismissive, maybe even hostile. What makes this even more dangerous is that it often goes unspoken. The resentment simmers beneath the surface not because the other person is cruel, but because they never got the clarity they needed. In any relationship, effective communication is the foundation. When we don't express ourselves clearly or fail to listen deeply, misunderstandings are almost inevitable. And once someone feels misjudged, they start building a version of the relationship based not on facts, but on pain. It's like looking at a beautiful picture through foggy glass. No matter how lovely the image is underneath, the viewer only sees smudges and blur and judges it unfairly. That's why it's essential to recognize how poor communication and simple misunderstandings can fuel negativity. It helps us avoid unnecessary conflict and prevent resentment that never needed to exist. We must learn to communicate with clarity, honesty, and openness. When things feel offensive, when you're hurt, say it. And when others act in ways that confuse you, try stepping into their shoes. More often than not, they're not trying to be rude. They just don't see what you see. With patience and a willingness to bridge the gap, we can protect ourselves and others from invisible emotional wounds. And in doing so, we build relationships rooted in trust and genuine understanding. Differences. In fundamental values and beliefs, we live in a diverse world. Each person is shaped by their own unique mix of values, beliefs, and personal history, like puzzle pieces forming the picture of their life. But what happens when those values clash? Conflicts don't only arise from politics or religion. They often stem from everyday differences. How someone views hard work, how they live, how they raise children, manage money, or even show emotion. When a person believes their values are the right or superior ones, anyone with a different outlook can feel threatening, like a challenge to their sense of identity. And from that defensive mindset, resentment begins to grow. These value clashes don't just create disagreement. They can lead to discomfort, rejection, and even hidden hostility. Not because you've done anything wrong, but simply because your very presence makes them uncomfortable. They don't understand you, and what people don't understand, they often fear, and what they fear, they push away. In these situations, you don't need to change yourself. You simply need to accept that not everyone will embrace your value. That's okay. This awareness empowers you to respond with maturity and compassion, rather than trying to please everyone. You remain grounded, at peace with who you are, while still showing respect to others, even those who may never fully see you. The influence of rumors and gossip, one of the most common reasons people develop hatred toward someone, stems from the power of rumors and third-party talk. Whispered words, whether fabricated or exaggerated, can quickly damage your image and reputation, turning you into the villain in others' eyes before you even have a chance to speak your truth. Rumors operate like a fast-spreading virus. They infiltrate social circles, poisoning trust and planting seeds of doubt. What's most frightening is that once a rumor begins to circulate, it seems to take on a life of its own, twisting the truth, distorting facts, and creating a negative, image of you that feels almost impossible to control. These stories often target your vulnerabilities or hidden parts of your life and personality, with the intention of dragging you down and hurting you deeply. Even if the rumor is completely baseless, it still spreads because people tend to believe what they hear, especially when the information aligns with their pre-existing biases or doubts. Moreover, the shock value and secrecy of gossip make it even more enticing. People pass along unverified stories as if they were undeniable truths. No fact-checking needed. The consequences of malicious rumors can be severe, ranging from social isolation and the loss of meaningful relationships to serious setbacks in your career and personal life. Hatred fueled by gossip is one of the most difficult forms of hostility to deal with, because you're not confronting reality, but fighting against a distorted image of yourself shaped by others, whether intentionally or not. In times like these, it's crucial to recognize the dangerous power of rumors. While it's not easy, standing firm in your truth, staying grounded in who you are, and refusing to be swept up in the drama are essential. Remember, transparency and consistency in your daily actions are the most effective antidotes to the poison of rumors. When you live in alignment with your values, stay true to what you know, and don't let whispers shake you. Your true image will eventually begin to re-emerge in the eyes of others, because in the end, truth and integrity will always be stronger than any lie or malice the world throws your way. Personal insecurities and psychological projection. This is a complex reality, overlooked, yet it plays a major role in breeding hostility between people. When someone lacks the courage to face and heal their own inner insecurities, those unresolved feelings can easily transform into jealousy, resentment, and ultimately hatred directed at others. Some people are so consumed by their own ego that they lose the ability to see, understand, or appreciate the emotions and experiences of others. This self-absorption makes them indifferent, even dismissive toward both the successes and struggles of those around them. With such an attitude, they are often mistaken for being hostile or antagonistic, because others feel belittled or disregarded in their presence. But in reality, the resentment they project toward you usually reflects the emotional limitations within themselves. It often has nothing to do with what you've actually done. Understanding this allows you to face such tense relationships with greater calm and objectivity. When possible, try to foster understanding. If not, stand firm in protecting your mental space from the negative energy of others' unresolved feelings. Recognizing this helps you maintain compassion without exposing yourself to harm. That's how we manage emotions with both resilience and empathy. Envy and rivalry. Some relationships aren't truly friendships, they're quiet rivalries. Ongoing, unspoken competitions that drain emotional energy. The constant comparison becomes a hidden source of negativity. Healthy competition can push us to grow, but when it crosses the line, it turns into obsession, a simmering resentment with the unspoken hope that the other person fails or is somehow dragged down. This rivalry can show up at work, among friends, and even within families. When someone repeatedly feels overshadowed or unrecognized, they don't always choose to rise above it. It's often easier for them to try and tear others down, especially when they feel your success is undeserved, or worse, that it should have been theirs. Marcus Aurelius once warned that unchecked envy can lead people to ugly behavior, gossip, sabotage, even personal attacks. When the obsession with winning at all costs overtakes their reason, they may betray their own values just to hurt others, and in doing so, erode their own character. Recognizing envy and rivalry is a crucial step in understanding the emotional dynamics of your relationships. Once you're aware whether it's in others or in yourself, you can choose to transform it into healthy motivation, or at the very least, compete with integrity and respect. Remember, someone else's success does not diminish your worth. Under the same sky, no star steals light from another. Each one has room to shine. Pressure from social expectations. Social expectations can also be a subtle, yet powerful, source of negativity. Sometimes, just by not living according to the norms others believe in, you become a target of discomfort and, eventually, of personal disapproval. Imagine living in a community where everyone follows a set of traditional values, and then you choose a different path. Maybe you pursue an unconventional career, or build a relationship that doesn't follow the usual mold. To you, it's freedom. But to them, it's shocking, perhaps even a threat to the belief system they've clung to for years. What they resent isn't entirely you, it's the inner discomfort of facing something unfamiliar, and the unspoken social pressure to keep everything as it's always been. In their eyes, your choice becomes a mirror, reflecting their own fear of change. This mental rigidity, this need to cling to their fixed beliefs, often pushes people to reject what doesn't align with their worldview. But here's what you must never forget: this life is yours. Every decision you make, whether big or small, is a step on your unique journey toward happiness and fulfillment. You are not here to live up to other people's expectations. Not your parents, not society's, not your peers. Even if they object, even if they don't understand, you are allowed to choose differently. Living according to your own values isn't selfish. It's essential for your emotional and spiritual being. Only by being true to yourself and daring to stand firm against outside pressure can you experience the freedom of living a full, meaningful life. Don't let other people's judgments chain you. Embrace your authenticity. Choose courage. Live a life that actually feels like yours. Now, let's talk about something that often poisons relationships without us even noticing: the lack of recognition, the feeling of being overlooked, having your efforts ignored or your contributions dismissed as one of the deepest roots of resentment. We all crave acknowledgement. We want someone to notice our hard work, our sacrifices, our small victories. But when those efforts are taken for granted, bitterness slowly takes root. And over time, that quiet bitterness can harden into resentment or even hatred. This is especially true in competitive environments, offices, families, friend groups, in places where attention is scarce and recognition is currency. The pain of being unseen can be intense. As Epicurus once said, when your achievements go unnoticed, envy often grows toward those who seem to get all the praise. But here's the truth: recognition is subjective. Some people need validation more than others. That's why we must learn to communicate openly and acknowledge each other at the right time. It prevents unnecessary negativity and helps us build healthier, more resilient relationships. As you navigate these emotional dynamics, remember, it's okay, even necessary, to set boundaries, especially with those who are trapped in their own emotional chaos. Some people are so entangled in their insecurities and unresolved issues that they lash out without realizing it. Their negativity says more about them than it ever does about you. Whether it's jealousy, misunderstandings, conflicting values, rumors, personal fears, or just a lack of empathy, most of the hostility you face has little to do with who you truly are. So know you are not responsible for the negativity of this project. And know You don't owe anyone your peace, just to keep the peace. By understanding this, you gain clarity, you protect yourself, and you keep your worldview grounded in truth, not in the noise of other people's opinions. Instead, focus on who you are, your strengths, the relationships that nourish you. Build a circle of honesty, warmth, and respect around yourself. Let the rest fall away. And finally, remember this: each of us walks a unique path. We all carry our own flaws, gifts, and lessons. Often, when someone dislikes you, it has far more to do with their own internal struggles than with anything you've done. So keep going, move with integrity, speak with kindness, live with authenticity, cherish those who see you and respect you for exactly who you are. In doing so, you create a better world, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you.